Excuse me, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Sorry for that really cheesy entrance, but it happened. So we're on the floor today. This is my wonderful bed and my TBR and other great things. I just wanted today to be a little more casual, just chatting with you guys because I haven't been here in a while. That's something I'll start off with. I haven't been here in over a week, and that's because I got all of my wisdom teeth out last Tuesday. All four, and it was a terrible experience and it made me really sick and I couldn't talk or move or do anything. So obviously I couldn't be making videos, so it wasn't fun, but I'm finally feeling better. It's kind of sore. Thankfully I'm not puffy anymore. Yeah, wisdom teeth was an incredibly horrible experience. I was really scared about going under anesthesia and like being asleep. That terrified me. I've never done that before. They gave me laughing gas and it takes so much longer than I thought to like fall asleep. And it's just like, I was just sitting here with the thing on, there's like people like all in the room, there's so many people, and I'm just like, oh my god, please, I need this to stop, I need to leave. And then like, you know, I got all numb and giggly, and then I had to get an IV in my arm, and my doctor is this 60-year-old white man, and he held my hand and sang Michael Bublé so that when I got the IV in I wouldn't freak out. And I just remember I was like laughing hysterically and I just like fell asleep. And later I woke up and my mouth was on fire. So it was a fun experience. Not at all. Literally not at all. And I'm so sorry for people who have to go through that in the future. But guess what? It only happens once. You only have 4 wisdom teeth and you can only get 4 or less out. So that's the good news. Oh god, I love tea. If anyone's wondering, I'm drinking Earl Grey tea. It's usually, that's my go-to tea. I always drink Earl Grey. I like chai a lot as well. When I'm at home I make Earl Grey. This isn't the best cup I've ever made though, because I like to put a lot of honey in Earl Grey. I use like milk and honey, and my tiny honey bear is like, just, the honey was just at its butt. It like was so empty and I just had to stand there, and it was heartbreaking how slow it was pouring in and how little made it into my mug. But I'll have to buy another honey bear. I think the more honey there is, the better the Earl Grey, honestly. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys is the books that I read during the cramathon, because that happened before I got my wisdom teeth out. I never got a chance to show you guys what I actually ended up reading from my TBR, and I figured I'd just show you since I did post a TBR about it. So one thing that's important that I learned during the cramathon is that readathons aren't my favorite thing in the whole world, because while I was reading these really short books, I kept thinking about the other ones I wanted to read that were longer and that like wouldn't fit into the theme of the cramathon. And I kind of felt like I was wasting time just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, it was like 3 days. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be doing other readathons. It wasn't really my favorite thing. But I did read 4 books and part of another one, so I'll just show you what those were. One thing that I read was Captain Marvel Volume 1, Stay Fly. Oh, this is Volume 2 of the Captain Marvel series. This was fine. It wasn't as great as the first one. I also read The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. This was a reread. It was fun. It made me really want to watch the movie, and I really have to watch the movie soon because the movie was great, let's be honest, guys. The movie was so cool. It had Jim Carrey and it had Meryl Streep and John Cleese. Like, that's a cool cast. That was such a cool movie, you know? The same day, which was kind of cool, I did read 2 books in one day, or like 3 books in 24 hours, which was kind of cool. I read Lost at Sea by Brian Lee O'Malley, and he wrote the Scott Pilgrim books. And this was interesting. It was kind of cool because the story was more driven by an inner dialogue than like actual talking dialogues. That was kind of cool. It was interesting, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you haven't already been thinking about reading it. The next one was actually sort of disappointing, and it was The Black Widow, The Finely Woven Thread. This is the first volume in her new like series, the Marvel Now series, and I thought this would be a lot better than it was, but it just wasn't. Like, the art is absolutely beautiful if you want like a look-see. The plot of the single issues and then the last 2 kind of like strung together, they just weren't that appealing. or interesting, and then the last few didn't really make sense and it ended at a weird point. And I still love Black Widow and I still love Natasha Romanoff always, but I just wonder maybe the comics will ever live up to Scarlett Johansson. And then at some point, like I said, I kind of got sick of the readathon, so the last day I didn't even try to read for the readathon, and I started Gathering Darkness by Morgan Rhodes, and I'm planning on making an entire discussion video about the first 3 books in the series. I asked people on Twitter or Instagram or something if you'd like that. A lot of people said yes, and I have a lot of thoughts about these books. They're really, really enjoyable, so I'm totally gonna do that at some point. I'd like to record it today, but my friend's gonna pick me up soon. We're gonna go see Trainwreck, and I'm so pumped because Amy Schumer is so funny. Like, if you haven't like watched her stand-up or her short skits from her show Inside Amy Schumer, then just like finish watching my video first because I'd appreciate it, and then since you're already on YouTube, look up Inside Amy Schumer skits or just Google Amy Schumer and see where it takes you. She's so funny. I love her delivery, like the way, like her attitude and kind of like her shtick is so good and it's really different. I think she's absolutely hilarious. She was on the Tonight Show the other night with Jimmy Fallon. So funny. It was so funny. So I'm so excited to see Trainwreck. I think it's gonna be amazing. And Bill Hader is great. Who else is in it? There's a lot of people on SNL in it. Vanessa something? Vanessa Bayer! Nailed it. She's in it. I'm really excited for that movie. We're also getting Chipotle, so. That was too much tea. I think I'm dying. Didn't choke that time. Oh, I have another thing I want to say. I read a book called Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed yesterday. I read the entire book yesterday and it's about 280 pages. I absolutely loved it. It's an incredible book. It's so important. I'm gonna leave a link to my review on Goodreads down below because I finished it at like 1:30 this morning and I just like sat at my computer and wrote this like incredibly extensive review that's like way too long. But I'm really proud of it. I think it's a really good review and I really wish I had a blog to like post it on. That's another thing. Would you guys read a blog if I wrote one? That's something I'd really like to know. If you guys would read a blog that I wrote, please let me know because I really want to try it again, but I just want to make sure people will actually read it before I make it. I would appreciate if you guys read that review if you want to know what I thought about that book. I would love it if I had a blog like I said so I could like send you guys there, but instead I'll just be linking my Goodreads below, so if you want to check that out because it was a really, really great book. Like, it really was, and I'm so happy I read it yesterday. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, I really appreciate it. I really like making this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! That was a success.